When they see something that's separated out so that it makes 4 individual spaces, only the Israelites lived in this type of house. This is the biggest 4-room house ever found.
Oh.
Somebody important lived here during the Israelite era. Now, what's strange about the house? It's outside the city walls, right? Well, that's the gate. Because you built the city out around the fortress. If trouble come, you left your house, you went behind the walls. If somebody important come through, you'd probably bring them into this house, and this is where they would sleep. You didn't really live in your house anciently. You would sleep in your house, you would store in your house, and now all the center sections of an Israelite 4-room house, you would have a room that you would sleep in, you'd have rooms that your animals would sleep in, your smaller animals. And where did you live? You lived in the courtyard, and where else?
Upstairs.
And upstairs on your roof. Usually one of these, like probably on this house, my guess would be this room right here, didn't have a roof. So right in the middle of your house, you could go outside. You'd have a fire out here, you'd cook out here. It would still have walls, you can see the walls still. But it would be your courtyard. Your kitchen was open air, which is easy down here, it never rains. But it was that way throughout all of Israel. If this is our courtyard, it would make sense to have storeroom there. Maybe our place, this is for animals, and that's for grains and such. There's your courtyard, and here's where we all sleep. This is one bedroom, this is the other bedroom. And you know, these would go up and hold the roofs. And it looks to me like there was another column coming up, so there must have been something heavy or ornate about the roof right in here. It lines up with that wall over there. Unless that was another complete wall in there.
Right in the middle, you might have noticed that there was an area that didn't have a roof. That would be where the people would do the cooking, so that when the fire was on, remember it doesn't rain much over in Israel, and so you're not ending up with the problem we have here of your fire going out. You could go out into the courtyard area, you could light the fire, cook the food, and the family could eat out there. So it was a quite a convenient area. There was also the area that you would do your weaving, your sewing, and all the other productive parts of the house. On the left-hand side, you would have noticed that there was an area for animals. And that is because, even though if you were living in a city, you wouldn't have a lot of sheep and you wouldn't have a lot of goats, you would still have at least one goat because you would want milk. So you would milk your goat. If you were a person who had a business, you would also possibly have a cart, and to draw the cart through the city, you would want to have your donkey or your mule or something that was going to pay. So you'd have a little area for animals, maybe even a chicken or two that laid eggs. Then the other side, you would have had a storage area. Remember I said before that there were important things that you needed to survive, and every family would have had a store of food that they would have had, if not for a year, they would have purchased enough food for a significant part of the year. So you would have had sacks or containers of grain, you would have had dried figs and dried grapes and olive oil and wine and all sorts of things all in that area. In the back, you would have noticed that on the floor there were some mattresses. The families in the ancient world would have slept in the same room. That was a communal sleeping place.
Curtains here to go between the rooms. The first room is more or less a living room. Second room here is the eating area.
Look at the broccoli.
Feel how cool it is, yeah.
The roof of the houses would, because there was not much rain and because there was no snow, or very little snow if there was any, would be flat. You didn't have nothing there to drain off, and so you could use the roof of the house as well for living in. So some people would sleep on the roof, some people would store stuff on the roof, and you might remember that when the spies went into Jericho, the Rahab, the prostitute, took the spies and hid them on the roof where she was doing some working with flax, under the flax pile. So very versatile, the houses were very versatile. If it was built up against a city wall like this one is, it would also make the house a lot stronger because you've got the strength of the city wall there, and it would also make the city wall a bit stronger as well.